so in Calvinism, they would believe that their choice to eat the fruit is voluntary, yet it's also foreordained by God. And so in that framework, the fall was inevitable, and it was decreed from the beginning, even if it did feel free to Adam and Eve. But Orthodoxy, it rejects that idea completely, because they say that an act can't truly be free if it's predetermined, no matter how willing the participant is in that, right? Mm-hmm. So God, he can foreknow all things without causing or predetermining them, because foreknowledge isn't the same as predestination.
Say it again, sister.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not. But that's what they would call compatibilism. So of course, they have their terminology for everything. So compatibilism, it's like determination plus this free choice, which like seems incompatible actually. Mm. But it implies that Adam and Eve were created with this inevitable inclination towards sin. So the fall had to happen in order for God's plan to work. Mm. But Orthodoxy says, no, Adam and Eve were created very good, right? Mm. They were innocent. They were at that point uncorrupted. They were without an inclination of sin, and they, weren't created righteous or sinful, mm-hmm. but they were capable of becoming either. So the fall was possible, but it wasn't necessary. And, to say that Adam had to fall is to say that God ordained sin from the beginning, which is incompatible with God being love himself, right? Mm-hmm. Orthodoxy never accepted those, later Augustinian developments of this predestination logic, that portrays God as, causing the fall so that punishment and wrath and the salvation of only a select few could follow. But, basically they weren't created with an inclination to sin, but they were created with the freedom, and they just misused that freedom.
Well, and it's crazy to think that, how you said that the Eve being deceived and all of that happening didn't have to happen for Christ to come. Mm-hmm. Because like you mentioned earlier in the episode, Christ wasn't a plan B. Like, mm-hmm. he was always meant to come and save and always to be this redemption. But whenever you look at it from a Calvinist standpoint, mm-hmm. or some, another kind of Protestant standpoint, and outside of the lens of the church fathers, like, not only does it change who God is,